Due diligence period, also known as the inspection period. And you're going to see this contractually in your offers, your purchase sale agreements. And really important in order for us to carry that ability to be conservative and under promise, over perform, even if you, even especially for yourself as well too. I always talk, as we perform for clients that way. Do the same thing for myself, my family, and our portfolio as well too. The due diligence process is extremely important. See to the right, over down there, wherever it is, you can download a checklist. And it's just great working with the transaction coordinator, working with a real estate agent. You're going to see this, but again, I want to give you the knowledge power to make sure you keep your team on their toes. All right. So jumping through this kind of chronologically as this stuff is going through my mind, making sure my team is crossing the T's and dotting the I's on this stuff. Go ahead and check that off. So every deal you got, you can check through the box there and make sure you get everything. So rent ranges. We're going to make sure that we're getting our rent ranges confirmed in writing from our property manager. ARV from the real estate agent. Remember, that real estate agent is local, knows the market, and hopefully is a real estate investor as well too. In writing, 3 to 5 properties, no exceptions. If there's not 3 to 5 properties, then it's not a deal. The risk is just not worth it. Again, we're being conservative here. I'm here building long-term wealth. I'm not here for a deal. Confirm repair costs with actual renovation quote from licensed contractor in writing. And the first quote that you get, it doesn't have to be spelt out 100%. That comes in the scope of work with the actual construction contract. But when you look at it and you've got any questions about the pictures, ask. It's the perfect time to do it. Confirm the walkthrough inspection notes, pictures, and home inspection to that quote. Make sure that you've got everything covered. Hey, who's covering the appliances? That's a good one. What's happening with the floor? Is it getting raised? What about the demo? Is that in there? The house is trashed. Who's trashing it out? Who's doing the final clean? Those kind of things as you start building a process with your team. It's just great questions to ask. Confirm all applicable taxes, local and city county, with the local and city county assessor. So what that means is the property taxes. In the markets we're in, we're pretty steady based off of the square footage of the house, the size of the house, the value of the house. We know where they're going to be. Some places even have websites there where you can go and put the purchase price in there, and you can it'll figure out the taxes for you. But in your due diligence process, you've gotten your assumption in your offer. Make sure that you're confirming that in your due diligence. Same way with insurance, making sure that is covered as well too. Oh, yep, next line. Confirm cost of insurance with insurance provider. Standard coverage. Do I need flood? Do I need earthquake? Do I need high winds? Those are very, very important. And if you're asking those questions, that could make or break a deal. If I'm in a market and I have to have flood insurance, there goes my deal, all right? So these are great things to confirm. If you get in the rhythm, my acquisition team is checking this stuff out front, but we're confirming in writing in the due diligence period. Loan terms from the lender. Match the anticipated close date. This is absolutely important, imperative right now, because we literally watched the interest rates double, more than double in the last 12 months. So with that type of market, if I'm BRRRR strategy, if I'm buying it, renovating it, renting it, and then refinancing it, I could be out 60 days, 45, 60, 90 days on this refi. The interest rates could have shot up a point and a half or something. A point and a half, that breaks your deal if you're tight, right? So make sure that you getting that in writing, your terms in writing before the end of the deal, before the due diligence period expires. It's really important. It can make or break you. Home inspection. That's just a great thing to have in the due diligence period. Even when you're working with contractors, a home inspector is going to be more thorough. He's going to be under the crawl space. He's going to be up in the nasty spots. He's going to be tearing that house apart. So ultimately, it's a great part of your process if you can have a home inspector go in for $300, $500, $600 and do a complete and thorough inspection of the property. Pest inspections, we talked about that. I'll also add on this one too. I didn't have it on the other one either. I'll get it on here. Septic and well inspections. If that, I didn't have it on there, we don't ever buy them with septic and well, but that's something that also has to be gone through. I mean, a well could be $5,000-$6,000. Septic could be $10,000-$20,000. It could be more than that, depending on what area you're in, right? Zoning ordinance to confirmed plan usage, certifications required, etc. And I told you that story about the duplex up and down that kicked us right in the face. Planned usage, that's what that was about. Certifications required. Is this in an area that requires rental certifications? Grand Rapids, Michigan is one of those where you have to have rental certifications. That all should happen really quickly, right? Within the first 10 days, all of those things should happen. And that's the timeline. The 10-day inspection period in your due diligence period is when all of this stuff is happening. Sometimes we'll write offers with 24-hour inspection periods. That's when we've got our team together and we can really get through. Because you have to remember, too, when you get your information, I need time to assess, judge, and make my decision inside of that time period as well, too. So if it takes me, to tomorrow afternoon and I've got 24 hours, well, I don't have any time to think then. So I want to lay out a timeline that I have time to assess the information and make the decision in without cramping. The more contingencies you put in your offer, like I said, it makes your offer less attractive. So if you have your team in place where you can do this in 2 days, 3 days, that's awesome. It makes your offer. As a seller, I also love that too. Like if I see somebody come through, I'll see a lot of flippers when we're doing like wholesale type things where we're buying properties and selling them as is. If I see somebody come through and do no inspection contingencies, all cash, done, deal, sold. The other thing on the timeline, I want a 24-hour pre-close inspection, a walkthrough inspection to make sure that the property is in the condition that we agreed upon. So every single time in the due diligence period, you have to walk that property before you close. So many times we've walked properties where they've moved out and literally left everything and it was supposed to be broom swept, or they've left tires in the yard, or it's just crazy the things that we've seen. Absolutely insane. Funny story. We were doing a flip and the first day the dumpster was there. This is a big dumpster, 40-yard box. And the next day the contractors show up. It is filled with tires. I think there was 230 some tires in this dumpster. Mind blowing. Who does that? Where do you even get all those? Anyway, all right. So contingencies, like I said, it's something we have to have in there to be safe in what we're doing, to be conservative in what we're doing. And it's always a way for us to confirm and verify any assumptions that we are made, make sure that the deal is perfect for us, for our investors, for our group, whatever we're doing. Verify all contingencies have been met prior to the expiration of the timeline. So before your timeline lapses, you have to make sure that you're doing this. The condition, occupancy, broom swept, appliances, important one. Oh, I was supposed to leave that? Yeah, it says right in the contract that you're supposed to, that the fridge stays with the house, right? Whatever. Building material, we'll do that a lot where we're buying from other flippers who just get overwhelmed or want to grab their equity and get out. We'll write in building material to stay with property, to go with property. And we go through on our walkthrough inspection, it's gone. One time I had tons of this beautiful flooring that was written in the contract to stay, and it just gone. That was frustrating. Clear title is a good one to write in there. Closing costs at the end part of the due diligence period. You're going to be reviewing the HUD 1, which used to be called HUD 1, now it's called settlement statement, ALTA statement. And in that, I want you to be comfortable and confident looking at these. Just making sure it ties along with the acquisition, being able to evaluate them, because you need to know who's responsible for what, right? Who's responsible for delinquent taxes and or utilities? Who's responsible for transfer tax and title insurance? Who is responsible for realtor commissions if there's realtors involved? Do the loan terms match your projections? Cash flow matters, and the loan terms could affect your cash flow dramatically. So when you're reviewing this in the due diligence period, make sure everything aligns with what the way that it's supposed to be. Confirmed correct information on public documents, ownership, name, addresses. So when I'm purchasing properties in an LLC, I don't want my personal name or personal address on there, right? I don't want investors calling me. I don't want any of that. So these are the things I'm confirming during the due diligence period. And again, the delinquent taxes, typically seller is responsible for that. Make sure that that's credit and debit, that's right on the statements. Same way with transfer tax and title insurance. Typically, as a seller, depending on what state, I've noticed that's different in different states, but make sure it's exactly the way that you planned for what market you're in, what agreement that you have with them. So you do these things through the due diligence period, and it's going to improve the likelihood of you having a great experience, great opportunity. There's going to be challenges throughout all of this stuff, but when you follow this from your perspective, from your direction, making sure you're aligning your values and your time, your approach, there it is, all the way down through here. And now we've got it defined. We know how to be conservative, and we know how to leverage the due diligence period. Now we're ready to roll into the deal analysis itself. Let's take a look at the Mayo calculator and start running some numbers and get you some offers.